I think they were gifts of whiskey, like 14 bottles of like pretty pricey whiskey, like $300 plus. I don't know, but we're operating
14 bottles. Maybe Iswaran has a problem.
Tristen, don't reveal your SES by saying this kind of thing. Like I said, there are some people from a $7,000 Brompton bicycle. It's like nothing.
I'm not talking like from a financial standpoint. I'm talking from a health, lifestyle standpoint.
But we all know, if anything, we know that Iswaran loves the finer stuff in life. If you have any interest in the tech space, or if you're up for interesting events to go to, listen up. Because come October 9th and 10th, Tech Week Singapore will be happening at Marina Bay Sands, and it's the most important tech event for businesses in Asia. This two-day event is packed with the coolest tech innovations in AI, e-commerce, cybersecurity, all things cloud and data centers, the backbone of the industry. It'll be held across 2 entire floors at MBS. We were there last year and it was awesome because we met so many interesting people, from regular folks like you and me to engineers, founders, CEOs, and people doing really cool stuff. Plus, there'll also be live demos, interactive exhibits, and speakers from Google, Meta, AWS, NVIDIA, and even OpenAI. With so much talk about tech these days, why not hear directly from the people actually making the breakthroughs that are changing our lives? Best of all, registration is completely free and it will grant you access to all 7 shows at MBS that are part of Tech Week Singapore. So you can pop in and out even during your workday. So get your free ticket by registering in the link in the description. Hope to see you there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news, the biggest topics, and all with what, guys?
Good touch of good old humor.
Yeah, okay. I know it's been a while, but this is another week while Haresh is away that you guys are stepping up to the plate. But I think we can do better with that yellow but that good old humor. Let's do it again. With a touch of what, guys?
Good old humor.
All right, excellent. Okay, I'm getting the Gen Z response already. But anyway, very relevant to what we're discussing about today. But yeah, congrats to you guys, man. This is what, the third podcast that you guys have stepped up to the plate. How do you feel so far?
Still settling into the groove of things, I guess.
Sure.
Well, you chose a really meaty topic for us to...
for this third edition, right? Yeah.
This is usually like a heavy hitter topic that you reserve for like the heavy hitter hosts like Haresh or Rishi or Sudhir, right?
Hey, hello, I'm the heavy hitter host here, right? That's you guys are here also talking to heavy hitter host. But I mean, I'll admit, I promised you all when you all started this journey of like stepping up to be on the podcast that we do very evergreen, simple topics, right? And then I think the first one, that was our first episode. And the second episode, we started to bitch a little bit about delivery platform workers and all that. And then the third episode, boom! I put you all right in the middle of like this big political scandal rocking Singapore. But at the same time, can we not talk about it? We can't, right? Everyone is talking about it, regardless of your age or whatever. It is something worth dissecting. And even if we don't have the best answers for everything because it's so early, I still feel it's something that we should discuss, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Dom?
Yeah. I think, a lot of people are interested in it. There was this guy, aware of all ages. There was this guy, the 24-year-old, queued at 5 a.m. just to get a ticket for the...
Oh, yes, Mr. Darren Tan. His name is Mr. Darren Tan. He's a 24-year-old civil servant, I believe.
No, I think he's a apprentice bank custodian.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he works in finance. Yes, yeah. So, but yeah, apparently he started queuing at almost like 5 a.m. because he felt that it was a very crucial case. And it was quite funny because I think only 30 people from the public were allowed in. So you really needed to, it was really very hard to get the tickets for this. But interestingly enough, that wasn't the only thing that people were clamoring for tickets for or clamoring to be part of yesterday, right? Which we'll talk about separately. But the first topic, shall we jump right into it? Since you're like raring to go, I can see the excitement on your faces. Our first topic is the hot topic of one of the hottest trials in Singapore history, right? I think it's been close to 40 years since there was a charge of corruption of a public servant.
I think it was leading up to it. It was billed as one of the hottest trials in Singapore history, but the actual trial itself ended up being quite a nothing burger.
Correct. So we'll dissect your statement a little bit there. But it is the trial of S Iswaran, former Minister of Transport. Supposedly the guy who who helped bring in F1, right? And it was instrumental, I think, especially in the later years of F1, like the steering committee and bringing F1 to where it is today, which we all also celebrated over the weekend. Not say celebrated, but we were all affected by it over the weekend, right?
Whether good or bad.
One good or bad, right? Yeah. Exactly. There's a lot on Instagram. You see a lot of people partying and having fun. On Reddit or what, you hear a lot of people complaining about traffic and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on your perspective whether it's a good or bad thing. But either way, Iswaran.
How poetic that his trial took place like a week or two after F1.
I believe there is more. It's more than just symbolism also, but we can talk more about that as well. Once I finish my slightly TLDR version of things, before you Gen Z start like butting in with all your little quips. Just kidding. Please speak up.
You're millennial.
Yeah.
Millennials invented quips.
Quips, No. But I'm an old millennial, so I still like structure and everything in what I do, But essentially, yesterday was day one of Iswaran's trial, and the trial was for alleged offences of corruption, of accepting gifts as a public servant, and a lot of it is related to his role as Minister of Transport and helping bring F1 to Singapore. In fact, the two corruption charges were linked to things that he had received from Mr. Ong Beng Seng himself, who is like the man who brought F1 to Singapore, hotelier, real estate mogul, whatever terms you want to use to describe him. But the gifts included, private jet flights, a stay in a hotel in Doha, business class travel back to Singapore, tickets to the F1, like 10, I think almost $4,000+ tickets to the green room at F1 in 2022 with a bunch of other things. So there's a whole laundry list of all these gifts that Iswaran has received over the years. But alluding to what Tristen was saying earlier, the big bang that everyone was waiting for turned out to be a whimper, because at the very start of the trial, it was revealed the prosecution amended the initial corruption charges to offences under Section 165 of the Penal Code, which relates to obtaining valuable items as a public servant. And out of the 35 charges that were levelled at him, in the end, only 5 charges moved forward in yesterday's trial. 4 under this Section 165 of the Penal Code, and 1 for obstruction of justice, which I believe was just that he tried to cover up that business class flight that we talked about by trying to pay back for it, right? Which is considered obstruction of justice. So, and based on these amended charges, Iswaran and his team of lawyers, including the revered Davinder Singh, he pleaded guilty to the 5 charges. So now the trial is the trial's adjourned yesterday to take place to resume in 3rd October. But the main argument now is just the length of the jail term, where the prosecution is asking for a 6 to 7 month jail term, while the defense is asking for no more than 8 weeks in jail. So 3rd October, 10 a.m., we'll have this whole circus show again. But that's the TLDR. You go online, you'll see a lot of different perspectives. Internationally, this news is being covered because, as I mentioned, it's been 40+ years since there's been any kind of corruption case in Singapore. A corruption case actually went to trial. It goes even further. 1975 was the last time that happened. So it's been almost 50 years since. But for you guys, like when you all first heard of this news, right, of the amended charges and pleading guilty and all that, what were your immediate reactions?
I can just imagine all those law enthusiasts here in Singapore eagerly anticipating this trial like it was the freaking World Cup or something.
Yeah.
And it just, within the first couple hours, it just went out
Not even a couple hours. I think first 20 minutes already. People are like, wow, that's it.
Because the news that the charges were amended and he was intending to plead guilty was quite
immediate.
Quite immediate, right?
Yeah, and the only way you could really follow was unless you were in court, right?
Yeah.
The only way you could really follow was there was a live blog from either CNA or Straits Times.
I was following the mothership one.
You followed much. I was following the more traditional mainstream media, boomer. That's the boomer mentality. But you just get these little drips and drabs of information, and you don't really see a full picture of what is being discussed. But it quite quickly looked like it was going to be like what you said, a nothing burger, right? Was that very shocking for you guys to hear?
Not really.
After hearing about or learning more about who was defending him, no.
Really? Davinder Singh.
Surprised.
Why? Yeah. But we've talked about this on the podcast before, where Davinder Singh's reputation precedes him, right?
Yeah, and for someone who has such a good track record of cases, you imagine that he wouldn't take on a case that he thinks
he will lose,
that he would lose or not get a favorable outcome on, right?
Yeah.
And the charges being amended from corruption to accepting public gifts is a huge win for Iswaran, right?
Yeah, I think because it doesn't specifically say that it's corruption, because he's accepted the gifts, but he didn't give any favors in return of the gifts.
Yeah. So I think some commentators, I won't say who because I don't think anyone should watch them, read them that much. Some commentators said that it seems to be more a case of carelessness than corruption, right? Where maybe someone who's too comfortable or too complacent in his job just neglects to do what he needs to do to do his job properly, right? As opposed to corruption where there's a very clear intent that you are offering something in exchange for something, right? So I know, Tristen, you mentioned earlier that you were not surprised because of a few factors, Davinder Singh and all, and you said that it's a very big win for Iswaran's team. But don't you remember Iswaran at the very start? He did say that he's going to fight all these charges, right? And he's innocent and he's going to fight these charges. So to come in on day one of the trial and just plead guilty, isn't that like egg on your face already?
Did he say that before or after he got Davinder on his team?
I think the when they went for the pre-trial conference, all that's what he said to the press. Yeah.
But he said he'll fight all the original charges, but the charges were amended.
Yeah. So new series of charges.
Yeah, it is technicality.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no lawyer, but also from my extensive research into courtroom dramas, right? My extensive experience, especially Lincoln Lawyer. Lincoln Lawyer is a good one, where a lot of this behind the scenes politicking between and pleas between the prosecution and defense actually go towards coming to an agreement on a punishment or the sentence for the person being tried. So the thing is that right now we don't know because I think
nothing has been said publicly.
Nothing has been said publicly. It is still under the court's jurisdiction, and we don't know what the exact judgment is yet, right? So a lot of everything we're saying here is just speculation or so, right? But have you all seen any theories online or read any mainstream media articles that sort of explain whether this is a good thing or bad thing for Iswaran?
I think generally most people online are saying that it's a good thing for him that his charges were.
That means he won, you're saying he won.
He won. He didn't lose too badly. So technically it's a win. Maybe more of a win for Davinder Singh to get his charges amended to this Penal Code 165.
I saw some people saying that basically got dropped from corruption to a slap on the wrist. Thanks to Davinder.
But that's where I think the language about dropping the corruption charges is not that they were dropped.
They were amended.
Amended, yeah. So I'll just puff my you all there that it's Not that these were dropped, they were amended to something much less serious. Because, the thing that a lot of people are pointing out online is that it might not just be about whether there was a plea bargain or anything like that, but it could just be a fact that the prosecution side realized that it's very hard to prove a case of outright corruption.
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, it's very hard to show that the relationship between Iswaran and Ong Beng Sing was like, oh, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Because that means both sides would be corrupt in some way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that even from the day one when they were announcing these corruption charges, you would need some substantial evidence for it to be a slam dunk to put the charges through. And so some people, I think the politician Goh Meng Sing said he thought that there was such evidence, but maybe there wasn't. And so he was quite surprised even that those charges were brought forward, because it's very hard to prove that, it wasn't just an act of like friendship or what, right?
But he also received gifts from another businessman, right?
Yeah. Someone who was awarded a contract.
Something.
Yeah, someone was awarded a contract regarding, I think, MRT track maintenance or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, again, it could be gifts, right? I think they were gifts of whiskey, like 14 bottles of like pretty pricey whiskey, like $300 plus. I don't know, but we're operating
14 bottles.
But we're operating in worlds where $300 is not expensive, right?
Yeah.
There are people for whom $300 for a bottle of wine or whiskey is
water.
Yeah, there's water.
Still 14 bottles.
One carton.
Maybe Iswaran has a problem.
Tristen, don't reveal your SES by saying this kind of thing. Like I said, there are some people from a $7,000 Brompton bicycle. It's like nothing.
I'm not talking like from a financial standpoint. I'm talking from a health, lifestyle standpoint.
But we all know, if anything, we know that Iswaran loves the finer stuff in life. He loves musicals. He loves football matches. He loves whiskey, he loves wine, he loves even the Brompton also is the T line on that, right? The top end of the line, titanium bikes.
The one I think you can't even order now if you want to.
Yeah, it's a flex to have it. So in essence, it's harder because the other thing I think that we've also mentioned before is that honestly, everything comes up to about 380,000, which he's already reimbursed to, not reimbursed, but paid back to the government. But 380,000 is a mere maybe 6 months of his salary, as a minister of transport. So a lot of people online were also saying that why would you throw away your years and your whole career over 6 months of salary, right?
Which makes sense,
Which makes sense, It's like if I ask you, right, you have a lifelong career where you will continue making money every month. Will you throw it away for a 6-month bonus, right? You won't, right? And that's what people are saying, that could also be one of the arguments that Davinder Singh would make, right? Like, these are people who operate in very different tiers of society where, honestly, or you need to go somewhere, is it emergency? Take my private jet. Anyway, if not, I just sit there paying taxes, nothing to do, right? Oh, you need a business class flight back. Okay, I call my secretary to help you order, that kind of thing. So I don't know. There's a lot of speculation what's going on, and the hard part now is that we don't get a lot of information about it, What to you, when you hear about some of the speculation about why the charges were amended and all, what stands out to you as the most plausible?
Most plausible is in the theories. I feel like, I don't know, because I watch a lot. My time is not Lincoln Lawyer. I watch Suits. So,
Suits, okay, yeah. Suits, and a lot of people referencing Suits also.
Yeah. Then I think it's the most recent law kind of show. So I think it feels like there was something speculation about maybe they came to an agreement to have a plea deal. Maybe the prosecution might not have such a strong case.
Yeah.
That then they also don't want to waste time and money.
Correct.
And have some circus drama about all this.
Yeah.
So they just say, okay, how about we just settle this? You plead guilty to this, then we amend the charges and you plead guilty to these lesser charges.
Yeah.
then we just get it over and done with.
Yeah. Because one thing's for sure, whether or not he, was proven to be corrupt or he pleads guilty to this receiving gifts as a public servant, I would say his career in public service is over, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, especially after going to jail and everything as well. The career is over. So if the intention was to get the bad apples out of our system,
it's worked.
It's done.
Yeah.
But some people online again are saying, oh, but it's such a light, like you said, slap on the wrist, because even the prosecution asking for 6 to 7 months versus actually obstruction of justice, for example, the maximum jail term 7 years. How come only asking for 6 to 7 months, right?
Actually, can you explain the obstruction of justice part? Because you said he paid back the business class ticket, right? But then he also already paid back for the rest of the stuff that he...
Oh, that was later.
How is it different from...
I believe the timeline is that the CPIB already picked up the scent that Iswaran appeared on Ong Beng Sing's personal flight records.
okay.
And then they picked up the scent already and started poking or asking. And then somewhere there, I correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who online or what. But after that, then Iswaran proceeded to ask Ong Beng Sing's side, can I pay you back for the business class ticket?
Okay.
So there's this appearance that you're trying to cover up your tracks already, right?
Okay.
So I think that's where the charge comes from, and he's pleaded guilty to it. So I assume that's probably what happened. But yeah, there's the Attorney General Council did actually come up with a statement also, right? They did say that they will make a decision on whether what's going to happen to Ong Beng Sing also. Because don't forget, Ong Beng Sing was the other half of the corruption charges, right? And now that those corruption charges have been amended, what is going to happen to Ong Beng Sing, right? And they also try to explain that in deciding whether to amend the charges, the Attorney General's chambers considered litigation risks involved in proving the Prevention of Corruption Act charges beyond a reasonable doubt trial, given that there are two primary parties to the transactions and both will have an interest in denying corruption in the transactions. I think essentially what they're saying there is it's hard to prove intent to
gain favors
to do favors each other, especially given that the two of them have had a very long-standing relationship really, right? And people are contrasting it to other cases where if someone's asking for bribes outright from a supplier who comes through his door, that kind of thing, then that one that they don't have a long-standing relationship, it's easy to say that, it's very clear that it's a case of corruption. But this one, because they have a long-standing relationship, and I think they even use the word dear friend to describe each other and all that, things like that. So makes it a bit trickier to amend to prove beyond reasonable doubt that there was corruption.
And also both parties have an incentive to withhold any crucial evidence.
Exactly. So they're saying it's hard to... Maybe they found it hard to prove on both sides that there was intent on both sides. Because it's one of those things that it takes two hands to clap. Right?
So on these new, the amended charges, if it was the original charges, then once Iswaran was maybe already prosecuted and whatever, and charged, and the case ended, then Ong Beng Sing will also be in court, right? So in these new amended charges, now only Iswaran is getting the flag, then there's no splashback on Ong Beng Sing.
Yeah. And people are also pointing out that Ong Beng Sing was at F1 over the weekend also.
Oh, yeah.
He was, meeting people.
Yeah, it was on mothership.
Going on life as per normal. So, interesting. And I think you were asking about the timing is very perfect, right? Originally, this first day of trial was meant to be on September 10th. Then I think it was adjourned or delayed till later. Remember September 10th, what was happening in Singapore around that time?
What was happening?
The Pope. The Pope was in town.
Okay.
And then there was F1, a couple of weekends later. So, I think if this trial also happened around that time, maybe there would have been a lot of very different kind of feedback, right? And then for all the wrong reasons, Singapore might be in the spotlight, even when the Pope and F1 is in town and all that, right?
No, but they could have used all those the media from there to cover up the
correct.
Just flood.
So everything we're saying here is just speculation. In fact, it could just be a procedural issue that they needed to delay the court case and everything, right? So I wouldn't take it from me because I'm not a lawyer or I don't have inside information about the process, but I think it is very coincidental that it was right after F1 as well. After the high of F1 and everyone enjoying. Whether it was the Pope and F1 coming along, right?
Yeah.
So I think October 3rd, everyone's still looking forward to what the actual sentence will be. This will be the part that people will be looking forward to. I mean,
that one quite funny also. I think like a few Singaporeans don't understand how the law works. Maybe because most people wouldn't be in the court.
Yeah.
Then like people close to me have said they were discussing this case. They were like, how, because I think the Vinder Singh was asking for 6 to 8 weeks in prison, right? Then the prosecution was asking for
6 to 7 months.
7 months.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was years. But anyway,
months, yeah.
The people were saying like, 哇，可以讨价还价，好像在巴沙买菜这样。
So people online were saying that
not online
can bargain in person to you.
To me, I can bargain
Can bargain.
Such thing one can bargain.
So do you explain to them the process?
Yeah, I say like, of course they will try as much as possible to reduce your what's this called? The sentence. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's I think because you and I, we watch a lot of courtroom dramas, you understand. And I have an objection to what you said earlier, Lincoln Lawyer being my time. Lincoln Lawyer is a very recent Netflix series. There's came out like 2 years ago, max 2 years
really,
ago.
Man? I thought, is it?
It's based on a very old, older movie, yes.
Oh, okay.
That was my time, yes. Yeah. But I'm talking about the series. Our time.
Why do you assume just because it was Terence who said it, there is
No, because I know there's an old one. I know there's an old one.
Gen Z stirring the pot as always. But yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of eyes will still be on this. I think the interesting nugget that everyone also online is speculating is, does this mean that general elections are coming soon? Because this case was meant to, people were talking about it stretching for months, if not like a year or something like that, because of the number of charges and everything. And it was wrapped up in almost a day, right? So people are saying, is this a sign that things are being wrapped up quickly so that we can have an election sooner than later, right?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense also because they don't want anything negative floating around, hanging around their neck before during the elections also.
Yeah.
Because if this is an uncertainty, then voters will be like,
no, then the opposition can jump on it a lot.
For them as well.
Yeah. Whereas I think in this case, when like what we mentioned, we've removed the bad apple from the system. Whether he went to jail for 8 months or 8 years or 8 weeks, whatever, he's out of the system. Right? Yeah. He's not coming back, right? And that's what the PAP style in whiter than white is, right?
Yeah.
So in some ways, I can see there's an argument there.
That's how they want to build the narrative. I mean, if they left it open-ended, then the narrative is open for the opposition to build themselves.
Correct, yeah. Of course, I'm not very sure because, again, we must remember that there's a separation of what the judiciary is doing versus what the executive branch and all that is doing, right? So how this judgment plays into their political strategy, we're also not sure. We're just speculating on what could potentially lead to them saying, "Oh, let's have a general election sooner rather than later as well." Right? Yeah. But I think that would also make it the earliest also would be November already, right?
Usually they don't do it during school holidays, right?
Yeah, November. Yeah.
Oh, they do it during school holidays.
Yes, they do it during school holidays because you think about a lot of the places where we vote at, it's at schools.
School, yeah, true.
The people who have to come down and volunteer are teachers and all, right? So you can't have them disrupt the middle of the school term, right? Yeah. But the only thing about November, December is that a lot of people travel. People are away also.
Around.
So it kind of depends. I think it won't be, if anything, it won't be in December, right? It'll be earlier than that. Again, all this speculation, take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, anyhow, even though there was all this drama going on in the courts in Singapore yesterday, there was even more drama going on in other parts of Singapore, right?
Pop culture.
And I'm very glad that we're here to discuss it with the two of you, because yesterday I did not know much about IShowSpeed. But IShowSpeed came to Singapore yesterday. He came to Singapore on Sunday. Apparently he left and then he came back again. And yesterday was like the real experience of IShowSpeed in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Did a 4-hour live stream in Singapore, visited multiple destinations. And can you all name some of the places that he went to?
So the first place he was at Kampong Glam. And then I know he went to Chinatown after that.
They went to Trifecta in Somerset.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went to Sentosa. And so in essence, right, I think maybe we just TLDR for people who don't know. IShowSpeed is one of the top streamers on YouTube. And Omegle, I believe also. He was very big on Omegle. No. Okay, let's just assume YouTube, one of the biggest live streamers. He got famous maybe in 2020, 2021 for his live streams of him playing games like NBA 2K, Fortnite as well, right? And over the years, he's just built up his subscriber base and it's accelerated to this point where he has almost, as of yesterday, also surpassed 32 million subscribers on YouTube. And he did it right here in Singapore, right? Because he was live streaming in Singapore for 4 hours after a failed live stream attempt on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday he went around town, and the thing about him is that even though some of you listening in the audience don't know who the hell he is, a lot of people know who he is. And there were mobs of Singaporeans and international students and all that following him around the island yesterday, tailing him and his entourage in their motorcycles. Stream sniping, appearing in the stream, taking photos of him, doing crazy, crazy things. Like, what were some of the things that they gave him that stood out to you? We're talking about in the middle of his live stream, walking around Kampong Glam, his fans would run up to him and offer him gifts, right? Yeah. And then he would react, right? So what are some of the gifts that he received yesterday?
The outrageous ones are $10,000 in cash. And
to raise him,
to raise him, as in like a bet to raise him.
Yeah.
Then the $10,000 he says is meant to give to charity. Whether or not give to charity, we don't know.
Yep.
Then another one is iPhone 16
Pro Max.
Oh, that one I'm not sure what model.
Pro Max.
It's a Pro Max.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, which is quite crazy, like.
Yeah,
not as if he needs it or he can't afford it also.
Yeah. And I remember there was a signed Brazilian national team jersey that had like the 2002 Brazil national team, like Ronaldo's 9 signature and everything on it as well.
Not the Ronaldo, he's
not his Cristiano. Yeah. So, I know, like I mentioned, I'm not an expert at IShowSpeed, but in the past 24 hours, I've gotten to understand him a bit better. What does IShowSpeed mean to you guys? Like, as a Gen Z and a millennial / Gen Z person.
I feel like he's one of the poster childs of the type of streaming that younger Gen Zs and Gen Alphas are really into nowadays. It's like a very high octane, stimulating personality, doing very dumb, high octane, stimulating stuff. Like some of the things that IShowSpeed has gone viral for is he was permanently banned from the multiplayer game Valorant after getting into a verbal altercation with one of his female teammates and accidentally flashing his PP on stream, live on stream.
Yeah.
And most recently, a couple of times actually, I think he's like jumped over a Lamborghini that was speeding towards him.
Yeah, I've seen those videos, yeah. So essentially, like, he's very loud, right? Quite outlandish. His reactions are very huge, whether he's playing games or just reacting to someone giving him a big gift or something like that. There's a video of him reacting to meeting Cristiano Ronaldo, his idol, for the first time. Yeah. Also very dramatic and all.
Yeah.
And he's only 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
And he's already achieved like global fame, appearing alongside celebrities and all. But to a lot of people my age or even younger than me, like by 10 years or what, they don't even know him. And it came out, especially like when you watched, I think on Sunday evening or what, there was a live stream that Xia did where she basically, it was also revealed that she doesn't know anything about IShowSpeed and doesn't understand why the hype about him, and was also like she was also defending her friend or colleague Jianhao, right, who apparently had been receiving hate messages because Jianhao was apparently bringing IShowSpeed around on Sunday. But
the failed stream.
Yeah, they brought him to USS, Universal Studios Singapore, and they had to shut down the live stream because USS didn't allow them to live stream because especially in the middle of a riot and all.
So apparently he didn't bring them there. He requested to go there.
Yeah, correct. So I don't know. There's a lot of back and forth about logistics and all these things about Jianhao, but Jianhao is sad, right? And then I think Xia came out to defend him against the angry mob that was going online and scolding him. But she also pointed out that who the hell is this guy? I don't know who he is. I can't stand him. So loud. Just brings this chaos with him everywhere. And I'll admit, when I first started watching the live stream Singapore yesterday, I was also like, this is chaos. Somebody's going to get like run over by a car chasing after him or fall off a motorbike or something like that. It's chaotic. But strangely enough, I found myself after after a little while, quite addicted to watching the rest of the live stream and finding him quite entertaining and quite funny in the way he reacts to stuff, right? Dom, what is IShowSpeed to you? I know you actually you had a much closer encounter with him than we all have, right?
Yeah, I walked past his car.
Because you were
he started, right after he started his stream, but before he officially started when he got off his car.
So you can actually be spotted in like a certain timestamp,
3 seconds.
3 seconds into the live stream.
Not in the live stream, maybe like the first 3 seconds in the first 2 minutes of the live stream.
Oh, okay. And you walk past carrying a box, right?
Carrying a box, looking like a blind man.
So, but were there mobs of people around?
At that point, no. Because
also, they didn't know. Nobody knew that.
I don't think they.
Because the stream had just started, right?
Yeah, the stream
so they didn't know where he was.
They didn't know where he was. Then, so from there to my store is quite a walk. Then, I didn't notice any like big groups forming, but there were kids around Then they was watching his stream. Then after that, when I was getting
closer,
you say
kids, how old are you talking about?
16 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah. Then after that, people started running past me Then I think, then I was just thinking like, oh, okay, probably he's here.
That means you're saying that these kids have been on standby because they know that IShowSpeed.
Oh yeah, because there's a Telegram group chat specifically to try and catch him.
I see.
Yeah.
And all these people just want to like appear in his live stream and all that.
In his live stream, want to give him gifts.
Yeah. And then after that, if you watch the live stream, it's quite crazy because he gets out of the car. Immediately he's accosted by a TikToker who wants to raise him for $10,000 for charity.
Yeah.
And IShowSpeed wins and obviously just takes the 10 grand. Don't know what he gives to the charity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not beating the guy who jumped over a freaking Lamborghini.
Yeah. So IShowSpeed, I mean, you probably, if you've never seen him before, you might think he lives in the basement and he's fat and slop and everything. But actually, he's very fit. He's a track and field athlete, right? If I'm not wrong.
And he's participated in one of the soccer charity events.
Charity football matches, things like that.
The Sidemen.
Yeah.
Soccer organized by the Sidemen.
Yeah. So if all this sounds like Greek to you, it is also Greek to me. I really don't know a lot about this, like what Tristan's saying, this current gen of like live stream YouTubers and all that. I think I'm more from the Casey Neistat era, right? When you ask me like who's like the prototypical YouTuber, to me Casey Neistat was that. Even PewDiePie was a bit, I was already a bit out of it by the time PewDiePie really got really big as well, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Kampong Glam side of things was insane. Young kids following around, people just throwing gifts at him, right? Throwing shirts, throwing little things and showing them, oh, I custom made this Ronaldo thing for you and all that. Like, what is the reason that they're all plying him with gifts, you think?
Exposure.
Why?
Like, I mean, is like, I think like Xia Xue said also, why Jianhao agreed to do all this is not for free. I mean, apparently Jianhao is a very nice guy. So if you're an international star that wants to be brought around Singapore, you can ask Jianhao. Then he'll bring you around, all that kind of thing. But of course, for him, the what he gets back is the exposure lah. I mean, then for the
but Jianhao never posted any pictures of him together with Speed or produce any videos.
No, I think after that, because he left a bad taste in his mouth. Like,
Not
anything to do with. But I mean, for other people, is the for that lah, for the exposure lah. So like the guy that raised him for 10K also gave him a picture that was apparently made by some a local artist. And he gave a shout out to that local artist as well.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, for the rest, it's like the Kampong Glam, those business owners as well.
They were running out and giving him food and all that,
food, asking him to go into his the one of the Korean photo booths.
Yeah.
The guy, I actually know that guy.
Yeah.
So I was quite surprised to see him on the stream.
I see. Yeah, and then he made Teh Tarik also, right?
Yeah, made Teh Tarik with the guy. Then, that one really I cannot.
Why cannot?
That one really throw face. You go and do that kind of thing.
To describe for people,
it
was basically a Teh Tarik. The uncle did the Teh Tarik for him and taught him how to pull the Teh Tarik. But what else did he do that?
Then after that, face? Apparently, I don't know. Apparently, this uncle, that store is quite famous in Kampong Glam.
Yeah.
For local drinks. Then apparently, this uncle also quite apparently famous for taking off his shirt and pouring Teh Tarik on himself.
On his nipples.
Yeah. I didn't know about that. People told me about it.
I did not know. But I watched it, I was like, he looks like he does it quite often.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Because people told him, uncle, take off your shirt, take off your shirt. Then after he started taking off his shirt. Then Speed was also like, what the fuck? He pulled out his shirt and poured the Teh Tarik on his nipples.
Yeah.
Then Speed also poured a bit lah.
Yeah, correct. But then after that, he just like, what the fuck is this? And then he moved on.
But Speed likes Teh Tarik, so
he takes Teh Tarik. So there was a lot of businesses and business owners who found value in the exposure, right? And obviously, there were groups of people bringing him around. I recognize one of them as Dew, the podcaster, also Dew Francis, who was bringing him around. So that was
maybe it's
pretty
done
cool.
for yesterday.
Maybe I don't know. But then after that they went to try out other things like what I mentioned. They went to Trifecta, which is if you don't know, it's surfing, snowboarding, and skateboarding, sort of like a one-stop shop in the middle of Orchard Road, right, in Somerset. And IShowSpeed, he actually tried surfing for the first time in his life. And do you all watch that part?
No,
I found that segment really funny. Like, he was just like trying to appear like really man, like I can totally do surfing and all that. Then when he gets wiped out and falls in water, it's just hilarious. And his reactions are very big, right?
Yeah.
But that made me wonder also, like, because this is my first experience with Speed and all. Like all his reactions so outrageous, so outlandish, so loud, like what Xia Xue says, right? Is that really him, or is he just playing a character?
I'm pretty sure that's just the character that he's playing on camera.
Why?
To cater to his demographic.
And to when you say his demographic, you're talking about the people who watch like live stream gaming kind of things, right?
He's no longer gaming anymore.
No longer gaming. But I do, he has this habit of, like, he was always looking at his phone and saying, chat. What do I do? Chat, Yeah. He's referring to a live stream chat, right?
Yeah.
And he's interacting with his live stream chat. So there's that fun element of, like, I think if you're his part of his audience, you can like tell him, hey, do this, do that, do stupid things. Or, hey, I think his chat made him say, Nabe Jibai. So throughout the there was one section during live stream where he just kept repeating Jibai. And I think he did not know what it meant until he asked like actual Singaporean at the Trifecta, which I thought was pretty funny. And then his reaction was funny. So that was in some ways, like, this is the kind of exposure that you can buy, right? If you're STB. You want people to come to Singapore and check out, Kampong Glam, wow, so interesting, rustic and all that. Then you want them to like within 20 minutes, you are in the middle of a bustling city, and then you suddenly go surfing in the middle of the city. Kind of insane, right? So this is the kind of thing that that you can't buy, because it's pretty funny. I was like, there's Somerset area, there's actually a police station like right next door to Trifecta. So I was like, look at that crowd building up outside Trifecta. Wouldn't you be super scared or nervous if you're the police, right? That this could become a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
But from what I saw on the live stream, like there was no police like that came to stop the event or anything like that, right? But it's I guess it's the power when you've got like 32 million subscribers and he's not actually asking them to follow him, or he's not inciting them to follow. It's people
doesn't have to.
People are looking at his location and going there to find him, right? Because I saw
it's part of the culture, I think.
Yeah, when you say part of the culture, what do you mean part of the culture?
This kind
Stream
of live
sniping.
streaming, stream sniping.
Stream sniping, what does that mean?
So it means like you try and catch the person while he's live streaming.
Oh, and then appear in the background.
Yeah. So I think there's one, the one where he's in Indonesia.
Okay.
So Indonesia much bigger than Singapore, and like, probably some parts are not so recognizable. So the moment he came out,
he stepped out of the car, somebody came rolling by on a motorbike.
And then he started like just like laughing like a hyena. They streamed. They
gave him a gift.
Yeah, gave him a gift.
I see.
Speed was like, I just started.
Yeah. So it's quite an experience, right? I think for any young person who is like you've been watching this guy streaming, through your teens or whatever, and seen him rise to become very big, and now he's like in your town and all. It's almost like a badge of honor, right, to appear in his streams and all. So, I mean, from what I understand, after that he also went to Chinatown, visited like that big temple there. There was a very iconic cultural temple. But yeah, so IShowSpeed also then went to Chinatown. He checked out the temple, very cultural experience. And after that he went to Sentosa, right? Sentosa as well, where he did the bungee jump and a bunch of the swing and all that. And then he met the Shang-Chi actor Simu Liu, who just happened to be there for some reason. I think he was here for F1 and he happened to be at the exact same spot where Speed would go to. So that's what young people call him, just say Speed, not IShowSpeed. IShowSpeed is the channel, but Speed is people just call him Speed.
I think it's shorter.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Then he did so the TLDR of what he did in Sentosa is he did a bunch of rides, and he waited until the number of subscribers on his channel went past 32 million. Then he jumped off and did the bungee jump, which he was very reluctant to do, right?
Also, I'm quite amazed, right, that they did not take off his left mic before he jumped. Because at the base of the jump, there was like a pool of water.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And it was damn funny, like hearing his voice cut in and out, screaming as the connection kept going in and out.
Correct. Yeah, so I think that's one thing that struck me also is how raw the live stream is, right?
Yeah.
You would think that, with that many millions of subscribers, that it would be big camera crew on it, but it's essentially probably just one camera and one little left mic, and like at points where he has to take out the left mic, like when he was surfing, he would just get the bodyguard to hold the left mic as close as possible to where he was surfing, so you can still hear him screaming and everything. But yeah, then I think at the end of the live stream, like when they met with him downstairs, then they realized like a lot of people had unsubscribed and he fell back down below 32 million again. And that was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny because my understanding from my limited research on IShowSpeed was also that people have been doing this thing to him for a while, where he keeps talking about, I want to hit a certain number, and then they will help him hit it. Then after that, they will deliberately unsubscribe all at once just to get him to react in a way, like how he did, right? Where he got very angry, and then he
literally ended the stream.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It was a thing. So that's something I just realized, like, his interaction with the chat is a very love-hate kind of thing where, chat do this, chat do that, but at the same time, the chat also, people in the chat are trying to troll him also.
Yeah.
So it's, his kind of personality attracts a certain kind of personality who likes to troll each other and do these kind of silly things to each other.
Yeah.
So that begs the question, why is he popular? Why is he that popular to you guys? If you could help me explain, help me understand.
Actually, for me, the exposure I get from him is from
his viral clips.
Football content.
Football content?
Yeah, like those football content. And the viral clips on...
Can you explain the football content side
YouTube. So I think like the Instagram page 433 they do sometimes like repost his content or something.
Okay.
Then recently, like Tristen said, the one that he did I think it was Soccer Aid.
A football charity
match.
Yeah.
Then the one he forgot who was the guy that he tackled, but was a very famous footballer lah.
Yeah.
Then he tackled the guy, then as if it was normal, that kind of thing. But it's quite dangerous the way he tackled.
Yeah.
Then after that also, another one I saw was he was having a meal with the Portuguese national team. Then I think they were disturbing him. Then he started barking at Joao Felix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, barking is one of his traits as well.
Yeah, so that's how I know that barking was his thing.
Yeah. Like he reacts to when he's angry or what, he starts
barking at people. And then that's why people also are barking at him during his live stream.
Yeah. But then Tristen, for you, like how would you explain his popularity?
He just seems to be like a viral content machine. Like every month, like without fail, I'll see a clip of him on my recommended feed. He just has that personality, and the willingness to do dumb shit that will make him go viral. But I'll give him props where it's due. Like a lot of content creators don't do what he's doing currently, where he's traveling around the world, meeting new people, new cultures, and just experiencing life. And I've seen like a couple of clips of him interacting with bystanders or fans or even people who maybe have no idea who he is. Just being a very normal, courteous human being, which seems like kind of out of character for him. And I'd rather he be doing this than scamming people with crypto or launching like shady businesses.
I mean, if you're talking about Logan Paul, who did that exactly, wasn't Logan Paul like one of his things, like he traveled to Japan and he went around and visited places, and obviously
the wrong places,
right?
With a camera.
And also did quite offensive things like putting a fish on a car and stuff like that also, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Logan Paul was doing back in the day?
Yeah, but Logan Paul and his crew are like deliberately being as obnoxious as they can. Like they were running around shouting at people in public.
Yeah.
But Speed, he hasn't really done any of those things. I feel like all the public nuisance is a side effect of his fans and how big he's gotten.
Yeah, and he doesn't ask the fans to come and
he just streams and the fans show up on their own.
In fact, at one point when he was driving away on a motorbike from Trifecta, he was carrying a water gun and he was using that to fend away people who were chasing him, and he was shooting it at them. So it's like, it's not him it's his fans that are doing the really dangerous things
Yeah.
But I guess that's where I did, beyond a certain point, I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm kind of enjoying this, watching this, this guilty pleasure. And I was like, maybe people like Xiaoxue's age, my age, maybe we're just being a bit too judgmental, right? Because that's probably what older people thought of ourselves, like us OG YouTubers back then, like when we were all trying to do on the street stuff, pranks
swimming in fountains,
vlogging Casey Neistat, remember flying a drone across New York City every single day, and essentially also being quite loud, a big personality, and also like attracting a lot of people around New York City to say hi. But it captured a zeitgeist of the times as well, right? Where people like YouTube's a cool thing. Oh, what if I make a video of my life every day on YouTube? It started this whole trend, and I think that's where now. And then Logan Paul came along, and he also did his style of things, and now I mean, I do think he's a bit of an asshole and a scammer, but At the same time, he's a very big entertainer. He wrestles with WWE and a lot of people love him there. But again, he's got a lot of crypto scams that he needs to account for. And then now IShowSpeed is like this generation of like, he's bringing live streaming to the streets. And what that entails, or the dangers it entails for the fans or the people who try to stream snipe him. Yeah. The one that we still have to grapple with, but it's a form of entertainment that appeals to current generation of people on YouTube, right? So I feel like maybe people my age and all should cut back a little bit on like, who the fuck is this? He's got no talent. He's not producing anything interesting. Because I was quite entertained for the half hour that I sat down to watch his live stream in Singapore. And like you said, it was actually a good thing for like the Kampong Glam businesses and all that he even appears there. Because nobody's going to be like, oh, okay, wow, the burger he ate there was so great. I'm going to eat that burger in Singapore. They're going to say, oh, I want to go to the area that Speed went to when he went to Singapore, right? Or I want to go to Sentosa to try the bungee jump thing that he tried in Singapore, So I actually don't see it as a very bad thing that he coming to Singapore and, creating this big chaotic scene. I don't see it as a bad thing.
Yeah. I think it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that he could have done it better, more well planned. He knows that,
like the
of course,
Jianhao thing.
Yeah, like the Jianhao thing. Because that one apparently is all last minute also.
They called Jianhao the night before
they arrived.
They were arriving in Singapore.
Yeah. So
which you have to give Jianhao his due. He really pulled some magic out of his ass to organize the security, all those cars, and like the USS like permits and express passes.
The jersey that he wore on the
he wore a Singapore jersey.
Yeah, wore a Singapore jersey. So apparently that one Xiaxue said his team requested for it last minute also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's a Singapore jersey, so it's a good
Singapore
thing,
jersey,
right?
Yeah. I think he wears the local jersey wherever he goes.
Yeah. He was posing with the Singapore flag, everything also.
Yeah. So, I mean, for him, he is actions. Okay, so the mob forms around him. He doesn't ask people to come and stream snipe him and whatever. But he should know that this is the consequence of his actions.
Yeah.
So maybe he, as much as possible, he should try to maybe give advance notice to like security companies or the STB or whoever, so that they can maybe manage the flow of traffic all this better. Because Kampong Glam, all this is all small roads.
Yeah.
Then all usually either one way or like one lane road. So if all these big mobs come over, luckily nothing happened. Really luckily nothing happened. But they did like block cars, all this kind of thing. Then stop like right in the middle of the road to open his iPhone. That kind of thing. So that mob will have caused a lot of issues with traffic.
Yeah. But I only am trying to, put a positive spin on it, right?
Yeah.
Because his like live stream and visit came on the heels of F1, right?
Yeah. Busy
F1,
weekend.
a very busy weekend. And but again, I think every year there are these questions about what does F1 do for the local population? What does it do for local motorsports industry? What does it do for local businesses? And the answer is not always that positive or that clear. In fact, there's an article I think I just read yesterday where the local motorsports industry said that there really isn't much to show for the local motorsports scene even after 15 years of having F1 here, right? So when someone like IShowSpeed comes to Singapore, and I feel like it does more to help the local businesses than what F1 we've done over the weekend, right? I feel like we shouldn't be too
critical.
We shouldn't ridicule it too much, or like or maybe we don't like the humor, maybe we don't like that style of content or what, but there is an audience for that kind of content, and if it helps to bring more eyeballs to Singapore and the interesting businesses or things that we have here, we shouldn't be too
close-minded
about it. Yeah. But that's it. Are you all like? Are you going to watch his next live stream whichever country it is in? Next? No.
What about you? Are you an IShowSpeed fan now?
I think I'm very different. Yeah, it's not my kind of thing to watch a live stream. I watch the clips. I think I watched the clips. His reactions are really quite outlandish and quite funny. Like, you can go and see him surfing. That one was really, like, every time he fell down, it was just hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that part.
And I think he knows also then. And apparently, from what I understand, he was also streaming, NBA 2K for every day, right, during the 2020. But after he got really big, after he started to post a best reactions kind of like summary of every clip. So people watch for his reactions and they purposely want to rile him up a little bit so that he gets reactions. And it's quite fun seeing him having all these reactions by doing stuff in Singapore, like whether it's surfing or bungee jumping and things like that. So yeah, I mean, he's really hustling and putting himself out there. And like you said, traveling to what are considered very far-flung countries out of the way of America, right?
Mm.
And then, maybe bringing a bit more attention to the region than any other artist would have, right?
Yeah.
Even and engaging with locals, like really locals a lot more, right? And that's what I found quite charming about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I wouldn't probably follow his streams. It's really not my thing. Yeah. But cool. Yeah, wow, what a busy day yesterday. But speaking of cool things, what are your one Shiok things? This one you all should have prepared already because it's coming up now, right?
I'll share mine first.
Sure.
On the theme of billionaires and the law. So recently I've been rewatching Billions.
Yeah.
The TV series.
Okay.
I think locally there's only up to season 5.
Yeah.
Which is like they say that's the best part of the series lah. Season 6 and 7 is quite rubbish. So wouldn't miss that one. So what's the series about is about this billionaire hedge fund manager who's head of HR and / performance coach, which is a lady. Her husband is the United States attorney at the start United States attorney for the Southern District. So that was his main antagonist.
I see.
So and you can see from there's two different parallel stories. So one is the United States attorney going after cases like financial cases. Then they're also trying to go after him. Yeah. So which is quite. And then you see all those backroom dealings and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So quite interesting after you read the Iswaran case and also watch this series.
Billionaires.
Billions.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why all this. The first thing that came to my mind is, I don't know whether behind the scenes there was things that's going on.
I see. And this is on what? It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
5 seasons on Netflix.
5 seasons on Netflix. Yeah. Billions. Cool. Tristen, what is your one Shiok thing?
And mine was is an announcement trailer for a video game that was released yesterday, and it's a sequel to, I think you know about this one, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And it's called Ghost of Yote. And it's Ghost of Tsushima was a open world action game
Samurai,
that took place in 1300s in Japan during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. So this sequel is gonna be set 300 years later in another whole different region with a new protagonist. And this time it's gonna be in Hokkaido.
Yeah.
And based on screen caps or the trailer, it just looks like it's gonna be just as beautiful, if not more, than the previous game. Because the previous game was one thing that people really took away from it was how beautiful and gorgeous the sceneries that you could explore in the game was.
And no loading times also.
Yeah. And little to no loading screens.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the first game. It
was great. Yeah.
Really scratched an itch for me that I couldn't find in any other games, just being a wandering samurai.
Oh, so that's your itch,
wandering through on your horse through windy plains, with the hat.
You should go and shave your head like how the samurais used to.
With the
reverse mohawk. Reverse mohawk.
Oh, there was, last time there was an arcade game where you can, it's like you can hold the samurai sword, and then after that, it goes through this forest, then you start slashing people.
Samurai Showdown.
I don't know what's the name of it, but it was one of my go-to arcade games last time.
I see.
Never seen it.
Now, I don't think now don't have it.
You're not talking about Golden Axe, right? That one's different.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe this was before my time.
Yeah, before our time, Dom. Cool. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to the game. It might finally push me to consider a PS5. But yeah, my one Shiok Thing is a video on the channel Voidzilla, which is, I think, CoffeeZilla's other channel, where he talks about the recent news of where the police in the US arrested 2 people related to a $243 million crypto heist.
Oh, I've seen this.
Targeting Genesis creditor. So what's interesting about that piece of news is that one of the 2 people is a 21-year-old Singaporean named Malone Lam. Right? Malone Lam,
he's Singaporean.
Yeah, he's Singaporean.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, so CoffeeZilla, in this second channel of his, I think he covers stories that aren't like deep, journalistic kind of investigations. But he talks about how the title of his video is Pathetic Scammers Steal $230 Million but Get Caught Celebrating. Yeah. And the story is quite crazy, and there is receipts online of these 2 people who American and a Singaporean who managed to steal $230 million in cryptocurrency and was just spending it on $500,000 in a nightclub, in one night. They were buying Birkin bags for girls.
Trying to pick up girls.
And he even has the text message exchanges with the girls and the girls telling them, I'm not interested. They say, no, I'm just giving you the bag for whatever. And then
one of the girls was like, thanks for the bag, but it's not really my style.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm really taken, So it's
the guy's 22 years old only or something.
Yeah.
So young.
So the whole thing was this video was just CoffeeZilla was just laughing at how pathetic they were, where they were just blowing money, not trying to cover their tracks or just blowing the money in clubs and buying those signs that the scantily clad girls dance around in clubs and all that.
And there was literally screen recordings of them celebrating
that they stole
the aftermath.
Yeah. So it's they're just really bad at being villains, right? Where they were stealing money but just putting it out there that they had stolen money and they were trying to use the money to pick up girls, but the girls were rejecting them and all. So it was a interesting watch because CoffeeZilla is I really like his content, and to hear him talk about this and show the receipts was pretty funny. Yeah.
Cool.
But cool. So that's our one Shiok Things a week. So fun fact, I think next week we should see the return of Haresh.
Oh, thank God.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you guys will not ever be doing this again because, as we come towards the end of the year, I'll be traveling a bit, things like that as well. There may be occasions where you're called upon to do this. But I was just going to say, commend you guys for stepping up to the plate and doing this. And, it's almost like a progression, the intensity of the discussions in terms of the topics that we covered from podcast to podcast. And I think people listening also, if you all thought that Dom and Tristen did a good job, so please comment in YouTube or Reddit also, and just let them know that you enjoyed listening to them give their perspectives also. Anything that you all learned about yourselves during this whole experience?
Not much of a podcaster.
But you're working on a podcast, right? Yeah. Essentially.
Different on camera and behind the scenes.
Yeah. Takes time. Like I said, it took us 500 plus episodes to find our groove also, right? Yeah. By the way, thanks a lot. And thank you all to everyone for listening. And we'll see you all very shortly.
See you.